Just talking about my generation. Well, happy Friday the 13th to you. I'm Yates. You're locked on to Jyneration Nation, broadcasting live from the Launch Louisville Studios on East Broadway. You're locked on to LRS102.com, The Walrus, and I'm always pumped, especially on a full moon and a Friday the 13th. I have Jaxon Swain up in the LRS Studios. How you doing, Jaxon?
I'm doing awesome, Jen. How are you?
I am good, man. I've been a big fan for a long time.
Same.
Obviously.
Right back at you.
And we're actually gonna throw in some voodoo drumming behind us, some Haitian craziness while we talk.
I'm way into this.
Yes, it's Friday the 13th, man. Don't you love a Friday the 13th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much every single one.
Me too. And a full moon. I'm a big fan of the full moon. And we've got all kinds of like stuff going on right now with the energies of the sky. And I'm a big fan of like podcasts on astrology and stuff like that. And I listen at least twice a week to Ann Orderly, who is a new, she's a professor of astrology at NYU. And she always kind of leads up to what's about to happen, you know, and it's always fascinating to hear and then compare, contrast, and what's going on in your life. So anyway, there's always craziness going on around full moons, especially today. And I'm happy to have you in the studio to talk all things music and creepiness and drumming and everything you've done in your career, because you've done a whole lot.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So let's start with, I hope everybody listening knows who you are, but if they don't, I want you to tell them a little bit about yourself, and we're going to talk all the projects you're involved in Sona Bless Records and Art FM. You have a big hand in that, so we're going to, we're big mom and pop fans here of everything local at LRS, and that's our goal, is to keep it local to Louisville as well as stream national. So I want to talk about everything you're involved in, because you've got a lot going on, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we've been spinning your Night Diamonds track here, which I'm a big fan of off the solo record. Yeah.
Thank you.
So tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got your start in music.
Well, it's a pretty long story, I guess. I'm Jaxon. Hi, everybody. I've basically been working on music my whole life, I guess. I mean, as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what I've been into. I started playing the piano when I was a kid, which I love doing, and I still do.
Cool.
And from there, let's see.
I've seen you rocking a guitar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not like a very good guitar player, but I but I can play the bass guitar, which I sort of taught myself how to do from the piano.
Yeah.
As a kid.
I think everything goes back to the piano pretty much anyway.
It kind of does.
If you understand the 12 notes on a piano and how to make chords and stuff like that, then you can easily translate it to, stringed instruments, horned instruments, also woodwind, stuff like that.
It's kind of a big deal.
It's a huge deal, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had some great piano players in on the show too, talking about all that,
Yeah, it's so cool, and it's kind of like if there's like a key or like a legend to like understanding how like most everything else works, it's definitely the piano.
Yeah, exactly. And there's only 2 to 3 parts of music. So that's the rhythm, which is the foundation of everything, because you can't have a melody line without a rhythm.
Right.
You can have rhythms without melody lines, though.
Correct.
So therefore it is the foundation. But melody lines are really interesting, and they really are what makes music catchy, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And also brings the emotion to the song. I feel like pitch.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But you're lost without rhythm, and I know you can tell us plenty of about
right.
about that.
I'll educate. Yeah. I'll try my best at least. So I met you. I'm trying to think. Do you remember how we met?
I don't think so.
I know, right? Same. It's probably at a nightclub somewhere.
Probably.
I know I was turned on to you pre-Lady Birds and pre-Wanda Jackson and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I had just heard your name around town, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we had mutual friends kind of
For
thing.
sure.
Yeah.
I think we just had mutual friends, and we're just probably at a lot of the same places.
And it may have been through
shows.
Brett Holtzclaw. I'm not for sure, but
Maybe
we love
so.
him. Yeah.
Yes, we do love Brett. We are big fans of Bretzel over here.
Yeah, me too. And he was in on the show not too long ago, and he brought the coolest vinyl in. Things that he's done in his career, which I know a lot of that you've been involved in.
We've worked together a lot.
Yeah, he's so awesome. I love him.
He is. Brett's an inspiration to
absolutely
pretty much I mean, to Louisville and beyond.
I agree. Shout out, Brett, if you're listening.
What up, Bretzel? Love ya.
Yeah.
Sup, pup?
Yeah, exactly. So when did you first decide that you wanted to be in a band?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, when I was in like high school, maybe even middle school, I think. I played with some friends. I guess. I definitely was in like a band that played a lot of shows in high school.
Mm-hmm. What was the name of the band? I'm just curious.
AKA.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Like the gun or the weed?
Ding, ding, ding.
I know. There's an AKA strand.
Yes.
I hear. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never had it.
Yeah, me either. Maybe in LA. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, you might not remember.
Yeah, exactly. They all blend together, literally. Yeah. So anyway, are you from Louisville?
I'm not. I grew up in northern Indiana.
Okay.
In a very small town in north central Indiana. It's about like a 5-hour drive from here. It's called Syracuse, Indiana.
Okay.
I moved here in 2004.
Okay.
Which is, I can't believe it's been that long.
I
and
know.
It's like going to be 2020. That is crazy.
No kidding. Well, I moved here in 99, and I've been here 21 years, and I can't believe it. No family here at all. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that's kept me here is the musician community as well as the LGBTQAI plus community. The communications industry, too, because I moved here working in television and radio.
That's right.
And then left radio because I was working in political news at the time of Ernie Fletcher and all those cats and Northup. And then I decided that was not making me happy. I was going to go pursue my love of music. So that's when I left.
And you did that.
I did that for the past 10 years.
And this is like Louisville's so wonderful because it can just be this, like, it's a great base.
It
is. You can go off and do whatever you want. I mean, you've played all around the world. I mean,
I have, and I'm just very fortunate to get paid to do something like that. I've just right place, right time. And just really worked my ass off per se in music, just like you have.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's the first time. Have you done more than one solo record?
No, actually, we have. Let's see. So we put out this EP called Night Diamonds.
Yeah, which I love.
Thank you. Maybe we can hear some of that, but. So I mean, there's been like a single or two from that, and then there was the EP, and we have a new single that is on its way out as well, which maybe we can hear today.
Cool, let's do that.
No one's heard it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can relate to you because I have never done a solo record before. I've done lots of records under like band monikers and lots of recording on other people's stuff. But Beverly McClellan, God rest her soul, kind of convinced me that I had everything I needed to do my own solo stuff. She was like, you can write, you can play, enough piano and enough guitar and enough like basic, melody structures. And then she was like, you've got to learn to use your voice because I never really sang. I did the rappy stuff, but she would make me write lyrics and voice lyrics in her stuff. And, I was like, pressure's on because she was a real badass when it came to vocals and piano and guitar. She kind of like was multi-talented at lots of things. But yeah, so I have just been in the past year working on a solo record.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I dropped a couple singles along the way, Bougie and The Gift of Gold, Y'all, and Kentucky Simple, which featured Bev. That was one of the last tracks we did. And then I keep going back and going, wow, I have all these recordings of my friends who have now passed on to the other side. And I need to utilize them somehow, some way.
So how many tracks are on your album?
25 right now.
What?
I know, I might do a double. I've been a writing fool lately, Jackson.
That's awesome, Jen.
The past 2 years, I will say, have been incredibly tough. As any artist knows, it's not the easiest lifestyle in the world.
It's complicated.
Very hard to find a partner in a world that we live in. One that's supportive and that understands your lifestyle and doesn't judge you for it and trust you when you're out and about at all these venues and stuff like that. I went through a lot. I went through at least 2 terrible heartbreaks, maybe 3 now. And then also went through the death of my friend Beverly McClellan while we were recording the Hillbilly Swagger project. And then I just recently lost Sue Riley, who was my bass player of 12 years in almost all the projects. Yeah. So, healing from that, I felt like the only thing I could do was write. You know what I mean? And I would just lock myself in a room and just, sometimes I'll just wake up in the middle of the night and stuff will just pour out of me and I'll just type.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back and read it the next day and be like, holy shit.
Yeah. Or
like
that
is
sucked.
some powerful stuff. Like most of mine, like almost makes me cry when I reread it because I'm like, wow, that had to come out of me somehow, some way.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you got encouraged. I mean, thanks to Beverly, like for making you. Putting the fire under your ass because
she really did, and she convinced me that not only could I produce my own stuff, but that I was great at writing as well, which I never really focused on because I always collabed, with these great writers who pretty much taught me.
Yeah.
But now I feel like, you know what? She's right. In my 40s, I feel like I've done enough to understand structures of songs and arrangements and melody lines and rhythms and. Right. It's just a matter of finding my voice and using it for whatever reason.
Right. Which is kind of the hardest part.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're on it.
Yeah, and I have a lot of questions for you about how you go about writing stuff because I'm a big fan of the creative artist. I feel like that's where we really shine and people start to really pay attention to us as individual humans that play music, There's a lot to be said about cover band stuff and being a side player and playing all this stuff around town, but I finally got to the point where I decided that was not making me happy playing other people's music. I wanted to write my own stuff, maybe not so much perform it because I feel like that might be a little intimate for me.
Sure.
But most of the stuff that I write is only because when I'm heartbroken or I'm really angry. And that's the only 2 times I get like material out of myself. So I've been challenged by the end of the year to write a happy song.
Okay.
Which I don't know is going to happen or not.
I don't know if I really ever done that either.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad you can relate.
Yeah, I can relate.
It's hard for artists, I feel like, to write happy, and I also feel like that us as human beings, we love our artists when they're tortured and tormented,
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of the...
Right.
It's just, I mean, and I think it's all part of one big cycle. It's because that's when people write.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because you are suffering in whatever way.
Yeah.
And people hear that and they relate to it.
They relate to the emotion, yeah. And, everybody writes a little bit differently, and I'm always kudos to anybody who can write a happy song. But, growing up, I feel like I was mostly influenced by a few styles of music that have collided and clashed and make me who I am. One of those being punk rock.
Yeah.
I always loved punk rock because of the F you attitude and the I can do what I want and say what I want and just... There was something about that, like, that gave me, like, I don't know, just pump. It made my blood pump, you know what I mean? It gave me, like, upped my heart rate a little bit. We love anything that'll up our heart rate. So,
yeah, just as people.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like punk rock, when I was growing up, the Joan Jett didn't give a damn about her bad reputation. Lita Ford was in your face with the guitars. Vixen was around. We had all these chick angst, And then when the 90s hit, it was like, Alanis Morissette was, she was very angry and You Ought to Know. And we were all about, like, following her,
Yeah.
I feel like, I come from that Tracy Bonham school of screaming at your mom, and all this stuff. And then meanwhile, collabing with, all the early stuff from like Da Brat and Queen Latifah of hip hop and Grandmaster Flash. And I really loved the rhythm and how hip hop is all about the vocal and the drums,
Absolutely.
So
the beat and the
and it almost takes out the tonality and the pitch of things and uses samples a lot of times. So I feel like if you clashed those two styles together and then put a little bit of like rock and roll, heavier rock and roll, then that's right. Maybe a little outlaw country in there too. Because, Johnny Cash, he was shooting a man in prison just to watch him die. You know what I mean? I felt like, in music, you can say anything you want, and maybe you can't say it in your daily life, or maybe you shouldn't say it in your daily life. But that's what makes music and art so cool.
Absolutely. And people respond to that. Like, that's what because, everybody wants to say fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
To
ding,
somebody
ding.
At some point, yeah.
Right, we'll put money in the tip jar. Yeah, no, you can cuss here. We have this awesome tip jar, and what we do is at the end of anytime we cuss, I'm going to donate some money to it, and then we're going to donate that off to a charity every month so that we cuss for a good cause here at LRS. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so I agree. Everybody wants to shout F you from the rafters, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And when our artists do it, our tormented artists, then we're all for it, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
if you want to put Earl in the trunk and drive him in the river because he beat your girlfriend up, go for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about the writing process because I love to talk about that.
Sure. Yeah.
And since you have your solo record out, or is it out officially?
Yeah, it sure is. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep.
And where can people get that? Just so.
So if you can get it anywhere on it's at all like the digital retailers or whatever.
Cool.
So you can stream it, you can download it, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Deezer, all of those things.
There's so many we have to keep up with these days.
I know. It's like you don't even actually. It's like you almost don't even know like
where they all are. I know.
Yeah.
Have you ever Googled yourself and seen where all your music is?
I haven't, but I know there's a lot of services that I don't know about.
Yeah. So every now and a blue moon, I'll do that just to see what's up. I'm like making sure nobody's trash talking me. But what's funny is you'll be like, oh, well, here's an article in Japanese that I know nothing about, but there's a link to my music. You know what I mean? And you just be shocked at where all you are.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. So I mean, you can get it all over the internet or whatever. And then also if you come see me play, I'll sell you a CD.
Awesome. So I love a physical copy.
And I think some CDs they're like Guest Room Records and Better Days and stores around town.
Yeah, Matt Anthony.
And Matt's place, of course. Yep.
Yeah, there's so many I can't keep up with now, and I'm so happy that a lot of these record stores are kind of staying around because I love to collect vinyl myself.
Yeah.
And there's nothing cooler than going into a record store and hanging out. And
hanging out.
You know, just searching. I love to search vinyl and find weird things that I've never heard of before. You know, there's just so much you can go back through. It's a encyclopedia of music, basically.
Totally. I worked at Ear Ecstasy, Jen, and for years, and that might have also been part of how we met.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that because I did play Ear Ecstasy a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. God rest its soul.
And I remember you coming in all the time.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I've been in the Highlands off and on. Highlands, Germantown for like 21 years, minus a few horrible relationships that took me away from that. Okay. But I always came back because there's something, we talked about this yesterday with Todd Hildreth. There's just something magically, and I talked about it with John Gage too. There's something magical about the Highlands that just sucks you back in.
It's true.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter wherever I travel in the world. I always come back to the Highlands. I don't know why, but I do. It's just I love the community there. I love to be able to walk the strip. I mean, it's changed a lot in 21 years. When I first got there, I was like, hey, where are all the gay bars in the Highlands? Yeah. And I kept preaching that they needed
Were there
one.
any?
No, not back then. Not until within the past like 5 years, 5 or 6 years. And then the past 5 or 6 years, now you've got a whole strip of like 4 or 5 of them, within a 2 mile radius.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. You can walk up and down, and I like those. I like that area just because like the area between Grinstead and Eastern Parkway, because it's my safe space. I feel very comfortable and safe there.
That's great.
And even in a world like today, I still feel like the LGBTQ community needs safe spaces. Unfortunately. Yeah, yeah. Love that. No, I love it. Cuss all you want, man. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the writing process because your record is out. And this is an EP, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and this is the first one you've done solo.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yep.
I'm so proud of you for that.
Thank you.
And I love the track Night Diamonds.
Thank you.
Every time I hear it, I want to scream, give me Night Diamonds. You know what I mean? It just, again, it's that gets my heart rate pumping.
Good.
How did you go about writing this record?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I might be. I don't know. Actually, it's great to talk about because I don't really ask those questions to other writers, and I probably should because that is how everybody gets better as you talk. You learn about people's methods. But I basically have like 50 like half-written songs in my notes on my phone.
That's exactly what I do. My notes on my phone. If we read them right now, you'd probably roll and be like, what was that all about? And half the time, I don't even know.
Sometimes I don't remember even doing it, and sometimes I do. But, so I kind of start there. I mean, for me, I kind of like, I guess I get like, this is strange. I think of the song title first.
Okay, I don't think that's strange.
Okay.
A couple of people, everybody I've had in, I've interviewed about their process. Everybody's a little bit differently.
Everybody's different.
But I know the Dixie Chicks do that, and not to bring them up again, but from what I understand from reading them, they come up with the subject that they want to focus on,
Yeah.
and then they like circle it and then brainstorm off like
Off of that.
Yeah, off of that about ideas about what they could talk about concerning that title.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think it's very similar. I don't think it's that uncommon.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I guess I kind of like start there, and and like often the song title is going to be like the chorus.
Yeah, the hook.
So
Yeah.
I go from that.
Yeah.
And then I guess I kind of go from there.
Yeah.
And I like
Ooh, you make me want to do something fun. I'm just curious.
do your
Well, we all have
worst.
notes. It's so funny. Almost at least 80% of the people I've interviewed about how they write tell me they use their notes on their phone.
And voice memos. I know people use those too, and I do as well.
Cool. I wrote down a band's name that I wanted to pay attention to the last on my notes. Perfume Genius.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love Perfume
They're
Genius.
awesome.
Yeah, here's one you're gonna crack up. It's called "Scissoring is Not a Thing, but I Wish It Was." That's in my notes. And then I've
that's
got
amazing.
my record I call the revenge record because it's basically me getting back at or saying things that I wish I could, just saying things to people that you couldn't in your everyday life. Although I don't like to drop names.
Yeah.
I just like to hint about who it might be.
Yeah, I'm not dropping any names
No.
either, but I mean, most people's songs are about somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see what I got. Beer in My Ear.
Oh, I love
Never
that.
got around to writing that one.
No.
Which is probably that's good for everybody.
Oh, wait. I need my walrus sound effect. Last night I stayed up chopping up walrus sound effects, and they cracked me up. That is a walrus.
What's it doing?
It's doing. Did you know that walruses
flopping
make?
its
Yes,
face
they
around?
make the most interesting noises, and the males are considered. I don't know. The males do it more so often than the women, but they basically use them for mating techniques, and then the woman or the female gets to choose the best mating call that
Okay.
she likes.
Like
to
which
who
one
she's
turned her
gonna
on the
sleep. Right,
hardest.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that is a walrus mating call. This one right here. Isn't that weird? I was actually looking for a walrus that was slapping its hands and doing the ar, 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 because as a sound effect for like cussing and stuff. Oh, yeah. I was going to read you this one. This is actually going to be on my new one called Jesus Freak 502.
Yes.
And it's the stain on your dress is a mighty, mighty mess.
Oh.
The pain in my chest is mighty deep. Play on. And then it goes on to talk about strange, oh, you're in danger, girl.
That's good.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah, and then it talks about marriage and cheating and a bunch of stuff like that.
Surely.
We're going to
Yes.
forget that part.
Yes.
Golly Foxin'. You ever heard of that one?
Yeah.
Golly Foxin'?
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool name.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I was like, that'd make a cool song, Golly Foxin'.
That's awesome.
I also want to write one called Rubbernecking because I'm from the country and we call it rubbernecking. If you're like bending your neck real hard when you're driving by something, it's like watching a train wreck kind of thing, you
Right,
know?
right.
And
Yeah.
when I went to school and got my EMT license when I was really young, and we called them the Oh My God Squad because anytime you're out there working a wreck, then you've got 15 people driving by,
Yeah.
pausing, looking, pointing, the Oh My God. Oh My God Squad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's them.
I know, right?
Yeah.
What else you got in your notes? I want to hear one more.
Let me see here.
This is a fun game.
Got some weird ones.
Yeah. Good. The weirder, the better. It's Friday the 13th.
Jessica joined a cult.
Ooh, I love that.
I
know a lot of Jessicas who have joined a cult.
I believe you.
Yeah, I do.
I believe
Trust
that.
me. Yes, I only speak truth. I'm telling you.
But I really don't know what that was even about.
Yeah.
I don't
Isn't
remember.
it funny? Because like a lot of times I'll just write something down. And I'm like, what the hell was that all about? I mean, there's all kinds of weird, all kinds of stuff.
You know what? What I think now that it was probably related to is like Sheena is a punk rocker or
Yeah.
Judy is a punk.
Yeah.
Jessica joined a cult. It's probably related to that.
The
somehow.
KKK took my baby away.
Yeah, totally.
I have one more, and I kind of love this one. It says, if there ever was a spirit that captured my soul, it was you.
Oh,
I kind of dig that one. That
really
one's a
nice.
sweet one. I know. I was like, who the hell was I writing that one
your
about?
happy love song?
Probably not.
Okay.
I can destroy anything, I feel like. And anything happy, I can definitely... I don't know. When it comes to music, I'm going to try my best for the world to write a happy song.
Okay.
But I also think, and we've talked a little bit about this, like when Sarah McLachlan was in her darkest, like she was kind of bi back then. She was like, I don't know. When she first came out, it was much darker and much like angrier and, is her better stuff, the fumbling toward ecstasy. When she got happy and started writing like love songs, we didn't care. We didn't pay attention at all.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It's kind of a double-edged sword in music. I mean, Gaga doesn't write about happy stuff usually.
Yeah.
No. Even though Ayo kind of makes me happy when I
love
hear
that
it.
song.
Yeah, me too. It's one of my faves.
I play that on my show on Art FM sometimes.
Oh, yeah. That's a great track.
Yeah.
But, if you look at a lot of these rockers, I don't think Joan Jett ever really put out anything happy, did she?
Not.
I mean, she covered
not really.
Crimson and Clover.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
When you think about I Hate Myself for Loving You.
Like, come on.
I know.
That's dark as fuck.
It is. In fact, it's one of my favorites to play on drum set just because it is so fun to play on drums. It's got all these cool fills in it. The floor tom groove that she's known for,
Totally.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like as female artists, I don't know, does it quite cross over in male artists too? I'm trying to think.
I think it probably does, but I feel like, hearing a woman's point of view is more interesting anyways, so that's what I care about, honestly. Like, I don't really...
Yeah. I've got all kinds of questions for you, because you also toured a little bit with Wanda Jackson, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I love that woman. I think she's brilliant, and how fortunate are you to get to play with Wanda Jackson?
It was somehow that is a thing that I did, and honestly, it's crazy, but like, probably, it will be like the thrill of my lifetime. Like,
yeah, no kidding. I look back at certain things that I've done, and I didn't realize at the time how important that they probably were. Like getting to go to L.A. with Julie Wolfe. I mean, that was a big deal,
that's awesome, yeah.
And all the people that she has worked with and continues to work with, and all the people I met while I was there. I got to meet Courtney. Courtney Love was at my show, and the Bangles, and I just got to meet the coolest people. And I was like, at the time I didn't realize how important that was until you get back and you've got to go back into regular society. I feel like I call it my transition back into the real world. Once you're out in LA and you're playing shows every night for 3 or 4 months and you're living like a rock star,
sure,
with a condo and a car and everything's free and just whatever. I was parking in Kirk Douglas's parking spot, like
that's
just
amazing.
I know. And then I come back here and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Jen Yates. Hi. Can't find a date in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a hookup culture.
It's like,
oh man.
But Jen, like it's all like you are, even though that's what's happening maybe like at the moment, you are doing your career.
Yes, and you are correct on that.
And you're always working, and it's like
I'm always busy, for sure.
Yeah, as a musician, you are just like always working somehow.
Yeah.
And it's weird. And part of that time, you were parking in Kirk Douglas's parking spot.
Right, yeah, at one point.
But that was just one thing you were doing for a while.
Yeah.
Like, you've got more on the way.
Do you agree with the statement that you're only as good as your last project?
Ooh.
I'm just curious because I've had a lot of conversation about that in the past.
I've never heard that.
Really?
No.
I've heard several people say, well, you're only as good as what you did last. You know what I mean?
Oh, well,
and like trying to up it every time that you're moving on and doing something,
I think there's probably something to that artistically, but does that statement sort of, is that a reflection of like your shelf life?
Right, kind of, I guess.
Maybe.
I don't know. I keep thinking I keep thinking on that, going, do I really believe in that or not? Because I've done all these really cool things in the past, but I feel like when you're an artist and you pass on and then everybody's looking at like your collection of everything that you've done, like it's all going to be counted, not just the last thing you did.
I agree with that more than I agree with that hard statement.
Yeah.
Like, because you have to, it's, again, it's your career. Sure, there's stuff that you did that, was awesome, but there's more coming too.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm gonna keep the faith in, and we're gonna say that there's a lot more coming.
Oh,
out
for
here.
sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
You'll love this, by the way. Not this weekend. Actually, the last weekend in September, I'm gonna get to go to Nashville because I did filming for a women drummers documentary, and it's a film.
I saw you post something about this.
Yeah, and basically what they did is they followed me around teaching my students. Also, got a lot of interview footage of me talking about discrimination, being a woman in a very male world. Asked me just all kinds of things about, just about musicians and the career, basically. That is going to be premiered in Nashville,
Awesome.
and all these drummers from all over the country are coming in.
Is it going to be at the Nashville Film Festival?
Yes, and
Okay.
they're getting it into all these film festivals, so it's going to break like internationally, really.
I'm so
after
excited
that.
to see it.
Me too.
I
And
might be there actually. I might go. I might end up there as well.
Okay, I was going to say if you're there, you let me know and I'll get you tickets and you can come
Thank
to
you.
this because it'd be so cool. Todd Chuckerman is supposed to be there from Styx.
Awesome.
Not Danny Serendip. I can't remember. I can't even pronounce his name. The guy from Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
But the drummer of Chicago, not him, but the one that followed him, is in it. They're all talking about gender roles and whether they think that, if you're a female, can you play any differently than a male and vice versa? And it's just to shed light on women drummers all over the world,
That's
and there are
awesome.
people coming in from everywhere, including the guys who started Drumeo.com, which is Jared Falk and all those cats, and Drum Talk TV, which basically does all these like old school videos that you've never seen, and has over 1 million hits on all of their stuff. So there's all these like big wig name guys, and BMI is going to be there, and ASCAP,
I'm
and
sure,
they're all gonna,
yeah.
it's a big deal, evidently. Yeah,
This is awesome.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that that'll kind of be like a highlight of a career thing because
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What was your experience with like with the film being made in general? Like, I mean, like what's are they? Do you know if the film itself has like a one message? Or?
Yeah. I think the one message is going to be that women don't have any barriers when they play drums, and it's going to kind of talk about gender issues,
of course,
around drumming. And I've seen some of the footage of the guys in it, like Todd Chuckerman, and he's just basically saying, that whole thing's bullshit. Don't listen to it. He's like, there are tons of women who can, drum just as good as men. It's just that they hadn't been seen until a certain time period.
Well, sure.
And just like a Wanda Jackson, I consider like Viola Smith like the Wanda Jackson of drums because she'll be 107 in November, and she is still playing.
God,
yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, and she drummed for Frank Sinatra, and if you get on YouTube and watch her, I mean, she was a pioneer. I call her a shero.
For sure.
The girls that are heroes are sheroes to me. And,
of course.
She is still doing the thing. She just stopped doing interviews because I tried to land an interview with her on this show, and they said if she gets any better, she will. But she's 107, so you got to take that in consideration.
Holy moly!
Yeah, but she's very aware, and she's got a copy of the book and all that good stuff. And she sent me a picture of her holding it, and I write her a birthday card every year, thanking her for her, her
fantastic.
contribution to women music and to women drumming everywhere.
That's like huge.
Yes, I know, right? So I feel like between the book and the documentary, that maybe I can like lay back a little bit and not have to work so hard and try to prove myself to people, because I feel like, and I love Louisville, don't get me wrong. Louisville is one of my favorite places in the world. That's why I've stayed here, but it can be a little tough here sometimes.
Sure.
And there's, there are, and not even within the music community. I feel like it's outside of the music community, but a lot of jealousy and, just weirdness that goes on with it. Like, and everybody's like, oh, they think that you've put out one record your whole life. And you're like, no, I've put out 30. You know what I mean? And, oh, well, I wish you were a household name. And I was like, yeah, me too. But I've been in a book with Sheila E. And
dude.
I feel like I always had to explain myself or educate people on everything that I've done, and that they didn't look at me in that certain way. You know?
I feel like you just, I don't know, I've kind of come to a point where it's just like, I mean, you can't really expect anybody to know anything.
No. Yeah, obviously. Correct. Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Yeah.
not,
I was like, well, maybe one day they'll educate themselves.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's just how it is.
Exactly. Yeah. But I love Louisville, and I love the musician community here. They've always been pretty supportive, and there's so much talent here.
Absolutely, and we have like a huge number of like amazing female artists.
Oh yeah. There's a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to work with every single one of them, obviously,
Totally.
I feel like, to me, I had an older African lady tell me this who I really admired. I feel like, music is all about the collaboration. And, what do these big record companies do when they want to break hip hop? Well, they put them with an Aerosmith who's already #1 on the charts, and then make them collab together. And then boom, we have Run DMC.
Right.
Same thing happened with Cardi B. Mm-hmm. We didn't know who Cardi B was or all that stuff, right? But they put her with Bruno Mars, who had the #1 song at the time, collab together, and then boom, we have Cardi B, and her career's off over here. So I feel like in music, it's all about who you collaborate with and doing the right collaborations.
Yeah, and that's definitely become, I feel like, we see that more and more and more. I feel like that's important to, I feel like it must be important to listeners and people like that.
Yeah.
They like seeing this like interesting, collaboration and like, mashup.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Sonoblast and how that
Sonoblast Records.
How that come about.
So I along with Gil Holland, so Gil started Sonoblast Records in 2002.
Right. And now is Gil the guy who owns Downtown Recording?
No.
That's a different guy. Okay.
That's a different guy. That is Nick Stevens, who actually saw yesterday, and I hadn't seen him for a long time. Nick's great.
Yeah, I'd love to have him in just to talk about. They've got so much cool stuff going on down there.
Yeah, totally.
And
I'm sure.
Gil as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gil, his career as an independent film producer is kind of what spurred him starting a label. In a nutshell, basically him like starting a label and publishing the tracks that he would end up putting in his movies that he worked on ended up being a good move for him. As you probably know, the last thing that film producers do when they're making a movie is like at the end they're like, oh, we need music.
Yeah, of course.
And by then they are like 6 months behind schedule.
Right.
And they're like, $10,000, $100,000 like over budget.
Right, of course.
So Gil was basically like, okay, well, I'm gonna start putting out this music and I'll just like offer it to my filmmaker friends or whatever. So that's kind of how that started.
Okay. I had no idea he was a filmmaker.
Yeah, totally. So
I need to start paying attention more.
It's all good. Fast forward to 2019. We're still doing that. I started working with Gil in 2012, and we have our biggest goal basically is to get awesome Louisville music out into the world.
Yeah.
And we work with people from all over the place, but
who's on your label?
Let's see. Well, right now, you are probably hip to Girlwood.
Oh yes.
Girlwood. So
yes, I'm a big fan of them.
We put their last 2 records out.
All right, sweet. Well, they are sweeping it and killing it.
Yeah.
I actually had a conversation over social media with one of them and begged them to come in on this show so I could interview.
Totally.
They were on LRS Fest last year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So and they've been killing headliners. You know what I mean? I'm just a big fan. There's only 2 of them.
Yeah.
I love that. They're like a local H or
Ray and Karen.
White Stripes or exactly.
The duo thing. Yeah, it's a whatever they're doing, they are just keeping doing it, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and we have a lot of stuff on the LRS playlist from them that we spin. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
They are about to hit the road for. I don't know if they'll be back here before Christmas.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. Yeah. Well, kudos to them.
Great.
I love to hear. We've talked about. I had Barry Thomason from Love Jones.
Yeah.
And we talked all about the local music scene here, and we both probably missed this because I came in 99, you 2004. But in the 90s, Louisville had this crazy underground scene that was really getting popular, from Slint to Squirrel Bait with Peter Searcy, who Dave Grohl was a big fan of, to, I can't even remember all the names, but there were, to Love Jones themselves, who Jimmy Fallon just had on their show.
Yeah.
And I can't even think of the other one. Days of the New eventually.
Right.
What's the other ones? Tantric and all those bands.
Yep.
We've had a lot of success come out of Louisville.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't even know that. And we could go way, way back to like Wilson Pickett years and Tim Krekel and all that kind of stuff too.
Sure.
We have some major talent here.
Yes.
And I feel like the world doesn't pay attention as much as they should to the Louisville music scene.
And that is kind of what again, like everybody's just working.
Yeah.
But so it's cool. People need to do what they do because they want to do it, not because there's going to be some recognition. Is
right,
what
of
I
course.
think.
Yeah, I think you should definitely just do your craft, and then everything else will follow.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's definitely something that we are trying to do at Sonoblast for sure.
Yeah.
Is we only work with artists that we feel inspired by.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And and we.
And how do you seek out artists? Like, I'm just curious because I know nothing about record labels really.
Yeah. Well, people send us stuff all the time. We're always listening to stuff. I am always seeing music on a very frequent basis, probably.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm doing for the show. I just seek out friends that I know that are awesome like you and say, hey, you want to come do the show? Or I'll try to catch 2 or 3 shows around town and be like, ooh, I really love them. I really want to dive into talking to them or something like that.
Totally.
And of course, with LRS Fest coming up, we've got a lot of local bands on our lineup.
Awesome.
Which are good. I went up to the tap room, watched a bunch of them audition. We got the SWP, dude. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're crazy. Mojo Thunder.
Yep, I know.
Boombox Poets, Julius. Anemic Royalty is another one, and a lot of our bands, as well as like the kids from White Reaper. I used to teach that drummer, by the way.
That's
so
awesome.
I've been like super proud of that band.
Yeah, they're nailing it.
Oh my
all over the
gosh, they're
place.
amazing. I was like, I can't even believe I had the honor. He was already really good when he got to me.
Sure.
I had not a lot to do with it. I just kind of showed him some technique stuff and how to read and whatnot. And
well, I'm sure he learned. Learned a lot from you. I'm sure that
and
didn't
his
go
dad
unnoticed.
was a great dude, and his brother was awesome too.
Yeah.
And of course, they went on to form White Reaper, who like basically just sold out headliners, and whatnot. So
they're so great.
Yeah, they're good kids too. So
that's awesome.
We wish them success. I spin their stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm always super proud that was a former student of mine.
Oh, that's awesome, Jen.
Yeah, I love those kids.
You should be proud.
Yeah, but a lot of those bands are on Louder Than Life this year.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Anemic Royalty's playing and White Reaper as well.
Yeah, and I love it when
Are there other local people on there?
I think there is Skinny J named off some. I can't remember who else it is, but Sick Puppies.
Oh yeah.
Anti-Flag, Knocked Loose, and Bad Flower. I think that's the ones he's gotten listed here. But yeah, we also have Despite the Fallen and Smut and The Last Origin. They're all on the LRS Fest.
Great.
With Nonpoint. And that's coming up October 5th
Excellent.
at the Brown-Forman Amphitheater.
Excellent.
I don't know if you've ever been to an LRS Fest, but back in the day, they were a big to-do.
I knew this. Yeah. There's so much history with LRS that we haven't even gotten to. But
exactly. Do you go back with LRS?
Not really.
I mean, not being on it, but like just knowing about it.
Well, yeah. Yes. I mean, I guess I first probably knew about this station through the compilations.
Yeah. The Homemade Records.
Yeah.
Yeah, check this out.
Yeah.
I love to show this one. We actually had John Gage in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had John Gage. This was the first one ever.
Yes.
And so that's why it's so famous.
That's like a famous Louisville record.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the LRS 102 Homemade Records with Jeannie Hartman on the front. And we had John Gage on here earlier this week, who is on the track E Minor Blues with Bill Clark. And he talked all about the recording process of that at the studio and how they went about doing it. We are trying to have a comeback. So that the goal with LRS is to keep it more mom and pops. so that we can spin artists' records, and the FCC can't tell you, you have to play Taylor Swift 14 times a day.
Right.
We can play more local people, and bringing these back and keeping the Walrus name. And we just got the Walrus costume, Wally, yesterday.
Awesome.
That used to be a big thing.
You gonna wear it?
I told him I would, because in my day I've been a mascot 4 times now.
Oh my God.
I was Michigan J Frog for the WB. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yes, I was. And when I moved here, I was 21. I was working for a WB affiliate, and that was in its heyday during like Dawson's Creek and Charmed and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, all those cool shows, Felicity and chopping her hair off. I actually was a board op who set and ran those. I was a master control director, and I put all of those on the TV, and nobody could fit the costume except for me of Michigan J, which was the singing frog. When you looked at him, he didn't sing anymore. You know?
Totally.
And they were like, dude, you got the calf legs for it, because my calves are very muscular, and it's just your legs that hang out of this gigantic belly costume. So I was Michigan J Frog for a long time.
I saw you on TV then.
You probably did, dancing around.
Sure I did.
I got beat up at the Bats games by kids.
God.
Yeah, it was funny. It was a crazy job to have, but they'd pay me extra to wear the costume because nobody else could. You had to be under 5'5" to fit in it. So I was 5'4", and it was perfect. But even dating back, I was a high school mascot in my high school.
It's
I was
just
a
in your
Dare
blood
County
or something.
Indian. I know. I'm like, what is it with me and mascots? So when they said they got the Wally costume, I said, you got to at least let me wear that thing a couple times.
That's awesome.
So I can say I've been the Walrus,
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But anyway, back to these records. We're going to try to bring these back, the homemade albums.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And back then, they did a lot of these at recording studios, but they also had a mobile unit that would record. You could record at, and I just bought a 73 Volkswagen camper bus.
Ooh.
Yeah, baby blue, and I keep saying we need to make it the official Walrus. Yeah, because my goal is to put a recording studio in it.
That's awesome.
Right? So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned with that.
That's awesome.
Well, Jackson, we're going to take a short break.
Okay.
I want to remind everybody that you can join us tonight, LRS102.com at Magbar 2nd and Magnolia for your chance to win free Louder Than Life tickets. LRS will be there from 9 until midnight. We're going to be giving away free LRS tickets and a pair of weekend passes for Louder Than Life. So don't miss your chance to score those tickets. Absolutely free. All you got to do is show up at the Magbar tonight, 9 to midnight, and join LRS102.com. The Walrus. And since it's all things Friday the 13th full moon, we're going to kick it in with some Oingo Boingo. You remember those cats?
Hell yeah.
It's a dead man's
Boingo Boingo.
party.
Yes.
You're locked onto LRS102.com. With Halloween. You're locked on to LRS102.com, the Walrus Jyneration Nation. I am the generator, Jen Yates.
Yeah.
Joining me is Jaxon Swain. What's
Hello.
up, man?
Hi, guys.
What do you think about the generator name?
I love it.
I do too, right? It's the JY-generator,
Yes.
Miss McClellan named me that. She's like, you just generate energy all the time, and I love
Generate?
it. Yeah, generation.
Love it.
That's when they gave me the show. I was like, well, AJ McKay actually came up with the name Jyneration Nation. I was like, ooh, I love that.
Love it.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So we are joined by Jaxon Lee Swain of literally everything. You've got a solo album out right now, Jaxon Swain online. They can pick it up everywhere in town, as well as Spotify. And what was the other one?
Yeah, everywhere online.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Just look it up. You'll find it. Night Diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you got some other stuff coming out too.
Yeah, we have a single that is coming out soonishly.
Yeah, soonishly. I love that.
Yeah.
There's your song, soonishly.
Yeah.
That'd make a great one. Oh, I love it. Yeah, so you can find him. And, of course, you did all kinds of cool stuff back in the day with the Ladybirds. You put out actually, we have y'all's record over here.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and with Wanda Jackson. And I can't even keep up with all the stuff that you do. You, of course, obviously, Sauna Blast and Art FM, right? Yeah, that's super cool. What persuaded you to, start Art FM or get involved with them?
It's weird because... I was just thinking about this a lot because yesterday was Give for Good Louisville.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So, it was a huge fundraising day for nonprofits here in town.
Yeah.
And so
kudos to everybody who gave,
yeah,
man.
very cool.
I saw
Very
Girls
cool.
Rock Louisville, they hit their
goal.
max. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, there's a bunch. My friend at Home of the Innocent said they hit theirs.
That's
Tons of awesome
so cool.
things. I love, who had that idea to just do a benefit for all of Louisville.
Well, the Community Foundation of Louisville, I think, is the organization who kind of puts it on. And they, I mean, it's really cool that they, decided to sort of like get everybody together and like, help everybody out. So it's very cool.
It's a great idea.
So we reached our goal yesterday, which is very exciting. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking a lot about like, doing what I do over there. So in 2013, I met Sharon Scott and Sean Selby are the people who invented the station.
Cool.
And they just kind of like asked me, I think, if I wanted to do a show. And I said, sure, I would try it. I've never had really, I don't have a radio background.
Well, that's super cool, man.
Yeah, we just kind of like went for it. And the station is, let's see, like 4 years later, we went FM. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we've been FM since 2016, I believe.
Yeah,
now.
That's a big deal, too.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. We have over 100 DJs.
Yeah.
Who come in.
I noticed that.
It's crazy.
Carly Johnson was here on Friday. Yeah. And she came right after her show. Yeah. And we talked about that too, her show. Yeah.
Yeah. Carly does a great show.
Yeah. You know what's weird is I actually started in radio at 16. And
I knew you had. I knew you had a background.
Yeah, and I actually when I started, it was all manual. It was still tapes and still reel to reels, and CDs was just kind of like around, and we still had the cassette tape players and all that stuff. And we actually had to go outside because I'm from the country, so we had to go outside in the cow pasture that was like 100 foot away from the station and turn on the transmitter. Like that's to transmit.
That's amazing.
We were AM FM, so I was running back and forth doing both stations at one point. But a lady discovered me, and I used to call in and request Dolly Parton all the time when I was a kid, and skipped to when I was 16 or 15-ish. I met the same lady again at my high school, and she said, do you have a job yet? And I said, no. And she said, I love your voice. Gave me her card. She said, I own the local radio station. I will give you your own show. All you have to do is come up and see me when you turn 16. And I did, and she gave me a show on the spot. Didn't even put it in a resume.
Wow, Jen, that's awesome.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then I did that for a long time, and my parents were cool enough to let me run that show late, as a young girl.
Sure.
They were
like
really
overnight?
proud of me. Yeah, I was doing 7 to midnight.
Okay.
And they loved... they loved to listen and whatnot. And it was classic old country music at the time.
Awesome.
So I was spinning old Dolly and all those classic, like, country western type stuff. After that, I went over to Campbellsville, Kentucky, where I worked for the Big Dog 99.9 and ran Greg Martin's Lowdown Hoedown Blues show for a long time. So I had already opened for the Headhunters when I was like 16 at the fairs and stuff. And then got to know Greg Martin through that.
Shout out, Greg.
Yeah, we love Greg Martin. Greg Martin was the first guy on my show because I said it's like full circle, Greg. I was like, here I am back in radio, and I got to have you as my guest because he was kind of like, he helped me get my start, and I was a board op for him, basically.
Sure.
It was really fun. I spent a lot of nights with him, several years doing that, and then ended up in television, which brought me to Louisville. Worked for LRS before they went under. I worked for Radio 1, and then they threw me on B96.5, where I got to go study under Russ Parr and learn all about radio production and stuff like that. He's got a syndicated morning show on B96.5 from like 5 to 9. After that, got into political news and then left to pursue music. And then here we're back in radio like 10, 11, 12 years later. Yeah, it's kind of wild. So that's just kind of my background with radio, but I've always been a fan of radio.
Totally.
Yeah, more so than television for sure.
It can be just really important to the, to a community. And Art FM is really just kind of like serving that purpose right now for me and for a lot of other people. So
I've seen a lot of positive things online about it. So and I've tuned in here and there, and
definitely.
I know Brett's been involved, and Carly, and I know a lot of the DJs
and
that have been involved.
A million other people that
Kim
I'm sure.
Cerise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could name them all off. Yeah, at some point. Let's talk about the Schnitzelberg Walk. I can't even say it. Schnitzelberg Walk. Schnitzelberg Walk.
Yeah. So we're playing the Schnitzelberg Walk. It's also like the Flea Off Market, I think.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think it's like all day.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, and there's music all day in between the Merriweather, which used to be the Lydia House.
Right.
And there's a stage at Monarch as well. So they're kind of like
Do you know the
bands.
the exact corner of the Merriweather?
Oh, yes. It is the corner of Lydia. I know that one.
Yeah.
Nope.
Lydia, and I've seen it, but
It's where it's right at the corner where Chex is.
Yeah, Chex Cafe.
Yeah, so that's Burnett.
Burnett, I think. Yeah,
and
it may be Burnett and Lydia, or what's that? Is it Texas? No,
it's not Texas.
Oh, we're
so bad.
I know we're so bad. Well, but for the record, neither one of us actually from Louisville.
True.
So
Siri,
we at least get a break. I know Siri. Where is Chex Cafe? People are listening are like, really?
So
These
bad.
two? Yeah, well, give us a break, because,
Come on, we're musicians.
Yeah, I know, exactly. There used to be that Zeppelin Cafe right there, too. Remember that?
Uh-huh. And that's actually where we're playing is outside of Monic, which is where the Zeppelin Cafe was.
Yeah, what is Monic? I'm not familiar.
Monic is, they make beer.
Okay.
And they make food.
Okay.
And
that's good.
You eat it and you drink it there.
Okay, perfect. That's all we needed to know. I actually got to play the other Chex Cafe last weekend.
What is that?
There's one out in Middletown that they've built.
I didn't know that.
And by the way, their wings are amazing.
Sweet.
They are. They smoke their wings for over 72 hours straight.
That's awesome.
And I don't think I've had a chicken wing that good, or any wings that good, for the record.
That is excellent news.
Mm-hmm, it is. And they are also paying groups to play. Not big groups, but like 2-3 pieces.
Okay, right on.
I played there with like a blues rock trio.
Right on.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a sports bar, but they've got amazing food. They already have their own built-in crowd. It's Middletown. It's kind of money area.
Yeah.
It was a really nice venue. It's right off of 265 there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, I have not been there, but I hope to. But the OG Chex at the corner of Hickory and Burnett.
Hickory, that's right. Hickory and Burnett.
Which,
we
you know
knew
how
that.
stupid we are, Jen, is because the fucking old Hickory Inn is right there.
Yeah. Well, and at the end was the old Moe's, which is now some new place. I turned there. I was there this morning.
Yep.
I just can never remember that. I always get it confused with Texas, because Texas is the next one over.
It's the next one.
Yeah.
Yes.
With the back of whatever that is, DuPont Manual Stadium or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
So, we knew that.
We knew this.
Burnett and Hickory.
You guys are out there accusing us of not knowing what we're talking about. We knew the whole time.
Right. We Googled it. I love that. Man, that's when that walrus sound effect should have come in. I tell you what, I was telling you a little bit about those walrus sound effects. I didn't know until I was researching walrus sounds that they make some crazy sounds. There's tons of them too, and they almost sound like a lion roar. It's almost very creepy, although they look at you with the big fangs, you know, or their big what do you call it? Their
tusks. Scary.
They are cute, but they're scary, and they got these weird hairs that stick out from their nose. Anyway, I was trying to find a walrus clap, which I could find a couple of them doing that, but then it was all these people cheering in the background for the walrus. It's like some kind of show that the walrus puts on. Yeah. But yeah, they make some creepy screeches and hisses that are very scary. I know. Yeah, when you're sitting there editing sound effects and they scare you, that they're probably going to scare everybody else. You're like, what is this?
The walrus life is a weird world.
It is, yeah. There's a lot of animals out there that are just very odd animals. I was reading the other day, like dragonflies, like pretend to die so they don't have to mate with the guys. I think that's so bizarre to me. There's, I don't know. Animal life is so interesting, but I also think we can learn a lot from it being humans, because we are animals too, technically.
Sure.
So
for sure,
it's an interesting thing. When I was a kid, I used to love to get those encyclopedia books and flip through and look at all the pictures of the walruses and all those weird, the polar bears, whatever there was out there. And then who knows about marine life? There's so many that we haven't even discovered yet.
There's shit that we don't know.
Yeah, which scares the crap out of me to ever get in an ocean. I just saw the Jaws or the Sharky thing the other day. They're all showing videos of sharks in like Jacksonville. I'm like, I just don't want to get in that. Oof. I love the ocean. It's very therapeutic. But if I can't see what's going on under me, I really don't want to be in there. It's
scary, yeah. I have an attachment to the ocean.
Me too.
I really don't even really totally comprehend. But like, I crave seeing the water.
Yeah. It's very therapeutic. That's probably why. Every time I go to, I think anybody would probably agree to this in some form or fashion, that if you go to an ocean and you're just, you're there for over a week, there's just something very therapeutic about the salt water, about the sounds, about
and the air.
Yeah, the air.
I crave the
it.
sea air.
Yeah, it's probably because we're in Louisville, Kentucky, which is the worst airspace known to humankind.
That's pretty true.
I mean, it is. We're like number one in the country for pollen and allergies, and we are. It's because we're in a valley, and it all gets trapped in the valley, and it just stays right there.
We don't have nearly enough trees downtown.
I agree. I would love to have more green space.
Yeah. We have very nice parks, of course, famous parks, but like
Cherokee
our downtown
Park,
situation is trouble.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And, I did read, though, that like Louisville, Kentucky has more green space than a lot of other cities, but we're still, if comparatively, poor New York's only got like one little Central Park, you know what I mean?
Totally.
And that's it. And everybody's trying to buy that space up because they want to be right near that park.
Yeah.
Did you know that the guy who did Cherokee Park was also instrumental in building Central Park in New York City?
Yeah, Olmsted.
Yeah. I think that's brilliant. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, he designed them all.
Yeah, and very fascinating. And I've been to New York City several times. I was thinking, was I there with you one time? I know it was there playing a gig, and I think it was Ray Rizzo was there, and Tyrone Cotton, and I don't know, there was a bunch of Louisville cats in New York City at the same time. At one time when I went up there to play the living room.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
maybe so. Do you remember seeing Brett?
Probably, because that's why I thought maybe you were with him.
I would have been there with Brett.
Yeah,
if that's what was going on. The Ladybirds played there a handful of times.
Yeah. I can't remember if the Ladybirds were there or not, but either way, it seems like for some reason I was in New York City with you. But I love New York City, I always have. It's such a great city. But I do feel bad for them because it is a concrete jungle.
Yeah, it's true. They even so though, they have more options than we do here.
Oh yeah,
like
heck yeah.
Downtown wise, it's bad.
Yeah. By the way, last time I was in New York City, I was inspired. Here's another notes in your phone thing is inspired to write green cement because I was like, what's with all the green cement in New York City? And they said to me, well, everybody wants yards, but we don't have it, so we just paint the concrete green.
Make it green,
and we make ourselves think that we have green, which kind of was like bizarre to me.
But it might work. It might trick your human brain enough to be like, at least think that it's grass.
Yeah, exactly.
And make you feel better because of that. Maybe.
Well, listen, Jackson, you brought in some really cool stuff. We're gonna hear
some music
later on. Yeah, later on, we're definitely gonna hear this this track that nobody's heard. But before that, we're gonna do the Night Diamonds track.
Awesome.
And also, is it the Ones to Beat?
Sure, let's play that one.
Yeah, let's play the Ones to Beat. Tell me a little bit about the writing process to this track.
Oh, gosh. I'm not sure that I remember.
It's okay. I don't remember half the things I've done.
This song, I like this song. I think it's one of our best songs. I like the chorus. It's really fun to play. I love Benny's solo. Benny Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can I tell you about the band?
Absolutely.
So, Benny Clark plays guitar.
Cool.
We know Bretzel plays drums. Brett Holzclaw. Mary Sonic Smith, if you know Mary, she plays guitar as well.
Super cool.
And then on this record, I think our friend Anthony Fossoluza plays the bass guitar. But currently in the group, we have, if you know Chuck Sharp, the bluegrass guy.
I've heard the name, yeah.
Yeah. Chuck's a bluegrass guitar player and singer.
Wow, cool.
And he does plenty of other things too. He is kind of like one of those can play whatever guys.
Yeah, virtuosos that we all love to hate because they can play everything good.
How did you do that?
Right.
Yeah, so that's the crew that will be at the Schnitzelberg Walk tomorrow at the corner of
Hickory and Burnett.
Yes.
Yeah, ding ding Hickory and Burnett. So tell me a little bit. So with this particular song, did you have the name first and then you kind of went that route?
This one maybe not actually.
Okay.
Yeah, this one maybe not. It's a love song.
Oh,
obviously, but
Oh, you did write a love song or a happy. Is it happy or is it sad?
Kind of in between.
Okay, I'll take that.
But it sounds happier than it probably actually is.
It sounds happier. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, here it is. It's the Ones to Beat, and this is Jaxon Swain on LRS.
Outside, the town is dying. It's a pity that the city doesn't know what it's got in you, in you. Hazel, come on, the band is on. Long dark hair and the pretty lights. You don't know what you do. When it comes to you and you're feeling blue, I know what to do. Shake, shake, shake that hair. Shake it everywhere. You are a precious ruin that shouldn't exist. Hey girl, I need for you to shake it up and go like this all night long. Hey, that's my favorite song. The guys who pay money just to watch you sleep. Yeah, baby, in my dreams we all want to be. Come outside. You only live one time. Hey, forget about those sad times you've been through. Cause baby, I've been there. You know it's hard for me too. Give me a kiss. Just like this. You got the whole world at your feet. Yeah, in my dreams we are the ones to be. Baby! Lover, bring it to me. Let's see what we see. Tonight might be black, but I can see the dawn. Yeah, it's shining through, shining through. To do. Shake, shake, shake that hair. Shake it everywhere. You are a precious ruin that shouldn't exist. Hey girl, I need for you to shake it up and go like this all night long. Hey, that's my favorite song. The guys who pay money just to watch you sleep. Yeah, baby, in my dreams we all the ones to be. Shake that hair. Shake it everywhere. You are a precious ruin that shouldn't exist. Hey girl, I need for you to shake it up and go like this all night long. Hey, that's my favorite song. The guys who pay money just to watch you sleep. Yeah, baby, in my dreams we all the ones to be. To be it, to be it, to be it.
The Walrus. Because LRS102.com is a digital station, we can and occasionally do play some songs unedited, raw, and real, the way the artist intended. If this makes you feel uneasy, we apologize. But know that every time we play a song with a swear word in it, we drop some change in the swear jar. Then, once a month, we add it up and make a donation to Positive Change, a Louisville charity that works to help the homeless here in our own town. So we're not playing unedited songs just because we can. We're playing unedited songs because we can make a difference. Remember, the Walrus is cussing for a cause. Yeah, you motherfuckers. LRS102.com, Louisville's rock stream.
In my dreams with night diamonds, I saw a glimmer through the trees of night diamonds. I felt you coming, baby, in my mind. I heard you whisper to me in real time. You want the melon, honey, you get the ride. My clock is twice as fast, so don't you waste my time. You know the sun is coming up, but I wanna go down. Breaking up, but I need the crown. So give me night diamonds. Give me night diamonds. Give me night. Oh! violence. These dreams, they never lose their spark of dead silence. I'm feeling good tonight, I'm feeling fine. You want the melon sugar, you get the rind. My clock is twice as fast, don't waste my time. You got my number, honey, but you got the time. You know the sun is coming up, but I wanna go down. My heart is breaking up, but I need the crown. So give it, night diamonds. Give it, night diamonds. Give it, night. Ow! You coming, honey, in my mind. I know you whispered to me in real time. You want the melon, honey, you get the ride. My clock is twice as fast, so don't you waste my time. You know, sun is coming up, but I wanna go down. My heart is breaking up, but I need the crown. So give it, night diamonds. 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 Give it, night.
Night Diamonds. That is Jaxon Lee Swain on WLRS102.com. Gimme Night Diamonds. I love that, man. It's so
you.
cool.
I'm glad you like it.
I don't know why it gets my blood pumping. Just it's got
Sweet.
a little bit of that punk rocky feel to it, you know. What was the influence behind that? I mean, I would have never thought of Diamonds
Oh,
at Night.
Lord. That's just a song about being crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No influence majorly. You just wrote down Night Diamonds and went with it.
That's a long story.
Okay, cool. We don't have to go there. I know. I do love, more than anything, I used to love that show. Oh, man, what was it? It was the behind the scenes show of why artists wrote their songs. I can't remember. It used to be on like VH1 or something.
Behind the music?
Yeah, maybe Behind the Music, yeah.
Yeah.
Where they come out, or storytellers,
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah,
Yes,
they'd
yes,
come out acoustically and they would tell why they wrote the song.
Yeah.
It was always fascinating to me because songs, when we listen, it's a personal experience with the listener, obviously.
Yeah.
And everybody takes from it what they want to take from it. That's why I love to write original stuff. It's like you can just put it out there and it's their choice to listen or not.
Right.
But I remember Sarah McLachlan's Building Mystery. I had in my head this whole scenario about probably why she wrote that song, And then I saw her interviewed on it, and she was like, "Oh, we just needed one more song to go to open the track." And so we literally sat in the studio and wrote that in like 10 minutes. And
Oh, my God.
it really had no meaning. And I was like, what? It just crushed me, But I love to hear why artists write what they do. Almost like 90% influenced by women and heartbreak, I feel like.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah, as humans, that's just that's where we get our emotions
What
crushed.
you do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and obviously you want to throw emotion into songs so people can relate. So that's super cool. We're going to actually spin some more tracks off of the Night Diamonds record coming up too. And then tell me a little bit about this other one that you brought in.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a new single that we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cover song.
Oh.
It's by the band Suicide.
Yeah.
And the song is called Surrender.
Oh. So not Cheap Trick Surrender.
Different Surrender.
Yeah.
Different Surrender, but yes.
Yeah, cool. So we're going to spin that one here.
Great.
In a minute.
Yeah, no one's heard it. I mean, it's not really out yet.
Sweet.
So,
Well, LRS people will have heard it.
Yeah,
we love that.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of a ballad.
Yeah.
I thought that we needed a ballad, and a lot of people whose opinions that I care about were like, you need a ballad.
Yeah.
So
I listen to people when they tell me.
Yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But enough of the right people were like, you need a ballad.
Yeah.
So it's something that we decided to do. I was just like obsessed with this song, and it just kind of worked out to record it. I liked the arrangement that we had playing it live, and So we decided to go for it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, we're going to play that later on in the show. So I'm so happy that we are joined by Jaxon Swain of Literally Everything. We want to remind everybody that they can catch you tomorrow at the Schnitzelberg Walk.
Yes.
At the corner of Burnett and Hickory.
Yes, right outside of Monic.
Outside Monic.
We're playing at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, 10 p.m.?
10 p.m.
Sweet, I'm going to try to catch that.
Yeah, come on down.
Man, and you're also on the same night as pretty much the full moon, you know what I mean? It's a full moon weekend, so ooh, expect crazy.
Hey,
yeah.
The Schnitzelberg Walk is rarely dull. So
I agree. I agree.
I think it will be fun.
You know, there's just something about that area of Schnitzelberg that's just cool in general.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
I actually live very close to there. I'm right on the other side of Poplar.
Yep.
In Goss there near Eastern Parkway, so I'm super close.
Excellent. Come on down.
Yeah, and I love that they also have the blues festivals and all that stuff right around that area.
Totally.
Yeah, it's super awesome space.
There will be, I think there are more stages too, but so there's also music at the Merriweather.
Yeah.
At the corner of Hickory and Lydia.
Yeah.
And also, so I know we've mentioned Brett and Mary, our guitar player.
Yeah.
So they're in a band called Juanita.
Yeah.
If you're hip to Juanita.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. So they play together, and they're actually playing at the Merriweather, I think at like 6:30 or 7, and I'm gonna sing a song with them.
Okay, so come out a little early.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course see Brett Holtzclaw and Mary. Mary Smith?
Mary Sonic Smith.
Mary Sonic Smith. I love that. Where'd she get the Sonic from?
I think it
I'm like,
is-
please tell me that's her real middle name.
She is actually she's Sonic.
Yeah.
As hell.
I love that.
So that's probably
Cool.
where she got it. Yeah.
All right, so everybody kind of come out around 6:30 around the Merriweather for
Yeah.
Juanita, and then hang around until about 10 p.m.
And
for
then
Jaxon Lee Swain.
Walk a couple blocks down, and we'll have fun there.
Yeah. There's one thing I love about, well, not only just the Highlands, Germantown and Schnitzelberg seem to be like this hotbed of musical talent.
True.
I mean, it's everywhere. And I always talk about this. One thing I love about Louisville is you can get a multitude of styles of music here, too. Any night of the week, you can go down to Stevie Ray's and see blues artists all night. You know, we've got a great jazz scene here. If you want to go to Jimmy Can't Dance and check that out, you know, we've got a great original music scene. We've got a good cover band scene here. If you want to go to Tap Room, you can meet up with all the metalhead kids.
Metal Monday.
You know what I mean? If you go to the gay bars, you got all the electronic stuff taken care of. So we have and not only that, but our folk scene too. You know, our singer-songwriter scene here is huge.
Yeah.
I had Danny Flanagan on the show, you know, and I'm planning to get people like Butch Rice in here and people that have been in that scene for a long time, you know. And then I don't want to leave out that if you know, there's all kinds of like badass hip-hop artists here and stuff from the West End, you know, that's just kick-ass stuff going on down there, and way ahead of the game. So, and then not only that, we also have all the tribute groups here. I mean, Louisville is like a hotbed of tribute groups.
There's a big scene for that.
Yeah. I just saw a new one popping up. It was like In Excess. I know they just did the I Heart Heart, Back to Mac. Yeah. I mean, Steely Danish. Mm-hmm. I mean, you literally could name a ton.
I kind of want to go see that In Excess band.
Me too. And Cheryl Rouse even has the Tina Turner tribute.
Totally.
And just because I'm name dropping, I'm about to play with an 11-piece band at that Louisville Highlands, the Louisville Pride up here in the Highlands. I found this lady here. Her name is LaVon Fisher Wilson, and she is a huge Broadway star. Who knew? That is based here in Louisville, Kentucky, and she has a group called the Queens of Funk and Soul, where they do everything from the new Lizzo type stuff to, you know, Tina Turner to Jill Scott or Erykah Badu, Janelle Monáe, all that cool stuff, you know, as well as some of the older stuff like Aretha and James Brown and
you're
whatnot.
playing with her at Pride?
I put together, it's me on drums, Jimmy Brown is my bass player.
Awesome.
I got this new smoking piano player named Jessica Bullock, who is like a theater cat and also a music teacher in town, to do keys. And then Donna Bivens, who's this older lead guitarist that's just a major badass when I saw her play. Awesome. I put together a band for an event I did called She Castle that helped raise money for Girls Rock Louisville.
I remember,
Yeah, and it was in Bev's honor because she loved to play for a charity, and I thought, what could I do? And so we put together an all-female house band and had 14 lead female singers from all different styles of music around town kind of rotate in and out, like 3 to 4 songs a piece. And the band basically was all of us plus Selena Felicia from the Killy Killies.
Selena.
Yeah, we love who we love. Selena was actually going to be out of town for this gig, so I hired in Jimmy Brown. Jimmy Brown found 2 sax players, a Barry and an alto, and a horn player. So there's your band. And then we have LaVon Fisher-Wilson, who is in The Color Purple on Broadway as well as Chicago. She was in Newsies on Broadway. She's done a lot of, by the way, just yesterday she was in Nashville recording with Martina McBride. So
wow.
She's got this crazy vocal.
Wow.
And she's based here in Louisville. And then she's got 5 of her girlfriends that back her up. They all went to YPass. And that's going to be our band for Pride.
That sounds awesome.
I know. Thanks, Jimmy Brown, for finding those horn players.
Yeah, Jimmy does that kind of. He's kind of just a magic person.
He is. He's like butter, man. Actually, when I left my show the other day, yesterday or 2 days ago, he was standing out here on the street corner waiting for me. I was like, Jimmy Brown, what you doing, man?
I love him.
This street corner right here tends to be popping. Like, I saw Robbie Bartlett there the other day. Jimmy Brown, obviously, just Nick Payne cruised down through here, who is my duo partner in the Kentucky Beatniks.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like you always find musicians right here on the street corner.
Love it.
If you're here long enough.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So anyway, not only am I doing the Pride with LaVon Fisher-Wilson, which is Saturday, September 21st. It's kid-friendly, dog-friendly, all that. It's like a street party. I think it's one of our best prides that we have because Louisville is cool enough to actually have
multiple
more than
prides.
2.
Yeah,
I thought there were only 2, but I had Mike Slayton of the Louisville Pride Foundation in, and he said we actually have 4. So I was like, wow, where have I been? I'm heavily immersed into the scene and didn't even know.
I didn't think there was 4.
Yeah, there is in Louisville, Kentucky. The 2 biggest ones being Kentuckiana Pride downtown, and then the one in the Highlands, which is in its, I think, 5th or 6th year this year.
Yeah.
But Todd Rickall is headlining.
Okay.
And if you watch the VMAs, when Taylor Swift took her little Moon Man or whatever was it? I don't think they do Moon Man. That's
remember.
MTV. Anyway, when she won her award for her LGBT song, Todd Rickall was on her left, and he actually did her acceptance speech. And then on her right was our playmate from Play, Jay Jolie, who impersonates Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Who John Travolta accidentally gave the award to, thinking was Taylor Swift.
That's right. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
I feel sorry for him. It's like in his old age doing some cuckoo stuff and everybody. He's getting a hard way to go.
It happens, but
I mean, I probably would have done the same thing.
Poor circumstances for him. That sucks.
But awesome for Louisville.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Todd Rickall is going to headline. If you've never seen Twerking in the Rain, you probably should go check that out.
I'm into it.
Yeah. He goes and he takes these old school like musicals that are like, Fred Astaire and all this stuff, and then he makes them into modern day hip hop, which is crazy, but still keeps that element of old school, which I kind of love.
Yeah.
He's a great dancer, great singer-songwriter. He was on American Idol at some point. He's been on RuPaul's Drag Race. He's been on a little bit of everything.
Okay.
But he's in Taylor Swift's new video, and they just took home a big award for that one.
Wow.
So anyway, and so did Missy Elliott.
And he's the headliner.
Yeah, he's the headliner at Pride this year. Yeah. And there's some other ones too. I know Simone's going to be doing that, but I'm also going to be playing with the Kentucky Beatniks down at they got 2 stages this year. One stage will be down near Big Bar and the McDonald's in Mid-City Mall area. And then, it's like a street festival. You just walk. And I know they're having a silent disco this year there.
Fun.
And all kinds of really cool things, going on. So you want to come out to that.
I do.
And you need to meet LaVon Fisher-Wilson because I was like, holy crap, when I heard her vocal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I look forward to this.
Yeah, she's a big queen, that just really can sing with some major pipes. I mean, you can't be on Broadway singing.
Yeah, you're like automatically going to be one of the best singers on earth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, correct. I couldn't even imagine. But I do know she was in The Color Purple with Fantasia, and when I told her that we were good for the gig and I was signing the contract and everything was cool, and she asked who the headliner was, I said it's Todd Rickall, and she goes, "Oh, I was in The Color Purple with him. I'm gonna have to call him tomorrow." And I was like, that is a trip.
Awesome.
Yeah, you got to love those connections.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just another reason to show how awesome Louisville is, man, with the talent here. There's people you don't even know. So anyway, let's spin one of these. Let's spin this. Can I spin this romantic motherfucker track?
Of course, yeah.
I just wanted to say that. I want to spin romantic motherfucker. That's cool because I can't find anybody romantic around this city. We talk a lot about how it's today, because I've been single for the past 3 years, and not that I'm looking, but it'd be kind of fun to like date somebody every now and then. But everybody's on these apps these days.
Yeah, that's a thing. thing.
And there is no romanticism with the apps. I stay off of the apps because they scare the crap out of me.
I hear you.
And I had somebody in here who's on the apps, and they did a study and tried to trace back how many people on those apps were actually single, and there were like 4 out of like 1 million people or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, most everybody on there was like a couple wanting to hook up, or
It's right. There's a lot of couples.
It's all about, it's a hookup culture. It's not a, hey, I feel like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 41. So I feel like 30, 35 and back, and this is just me speaking from my personal dating experience here in Louisville, Kentucky, and around this, the regional area, that when I came here, it was like, especially in the LGBTQ community, everybody had already been with everybody.
Right.
So I didn't want to get in the middle of that because I didn't know these people, and I didn't want to be in that. So I kind of shied away from dating a lot of people inside the city. But now that I'm older and I'm looking, I'm like, I really don't want to do the Christian mingle and the plenty of fish and the Tinder and the grinder and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because people today, it's like their hello is a dirty photo, which is fine if that's what you're into. I don't judge, but at the same time, I'm like, can't we at least like get to know each other and wine and dine a little bit? Like, let me take you out and let's go dancing and have a good time. And I'm a little bit more old school in that. So
I hear you.
The fact that you've written a song called Romantic Motherfucker in 2019 is pretty awesome.
Well, see what you think when you hear it.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it. It's Romantic Motherfucker. Jaxon Lee Swain on LRS102.com.
He kisses all the ladies' hands. He's got 100,000 friends. He looks so good, his hair's just right. He's a denim drink from heaven and he's gonna treat you right. He's been around the world twice. This one I put them all, you're so nice. You know that it's true. Come on, top of level. The sun that never shines like when he's looking at you. So watch out, he's a romantic mother. He ain't your average sucker. He's $1 million lover. Watch out, he's a romantic mother. 2, 3, 4. Lies a tortured heart is paralyzed. He's got nothing to say, it doesn't matter anyway. Pick him up and rip him off and call it a day. He's been around the world twice. Son I put them all, you're so nice. You know that it's true. Come on, top of it. The sun that never shines like when he's looking at you. So watch out, he's a romantic mother. He ain't your average sucker. He's $1 million lover. Watch out, he's a romantic mother. He ain't your average sucker. He's $1 million lover. Watch out, he's a romantic mother. 3, 4.
Oh, I love the cha-cha-cha. That's Romantic Motherfucker. Night Diamonds by Jaxon Lee Swain. I was just telling you, I really dig that. It's very rockabilly, very surf rocky, and it reminds me of the Dead Kennedys for some reason.
I can hear that. That's Mary on. That's Mary
Get it,
Sonic
Mary.
Smith on the solo there.
Get it, Mary Sonic Smith. Yeah, I might be in love if I meet that one. I love a chick rocker. You know what I mean?
She's a force of nature.
Yeah, well, I love a I love anything tiny in a tiny package that's just a badass. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what you got. Yeah. Come see us tomorrow.
Yes, at the Snitzelberg Walk. And I'm queuing up this other one here. I like what influence, say, the vocal line behind that, because you almost have like an accent going on there.
Actually, so I love to practice Spanish and French as well.
Oh, I love that.
So, kind of, I think like part of that, I was kind of mixing in some Spanish and French influences on that.
I always laugh because Gaga, what song is it? Is it Applause? Are you familiar with that track of hers? If you listen to it, it was one of her bigger singles off of the Joanne record, I think.
I'm sure I know it then.
It actually, I can't remember. What's the one where she's sitting in the chair and it's like the electronics? Anyway, it was the one before Joanne.
Okay.
Whatever the name of that one is.
Yeah.
Applause was the big single solo off of that one. If you listen to her sing it, the way she sings the lyrics, I swear she's trying to channel Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, I believe it. Okay.
Yeah. Is it Audrey Hepburn that's on Golden Pond? Or is it Katharine Hepburn? The one that
I think that's Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, I'm talking about Katharine Hepburn.
Yes.
Listen to her sing those vocals and tell me that she's not trying to channel Katharine Hepburn.
Old style accent or something.
Yeah, she's got this like vibrato-y weird thing going on, and it sounds literally like Katharine Hepburn on Golden Pond.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she has a very distinct voice, Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, for sure.
And it always cracks me up when singers kind of like throw that in.
Yeah.
Of course, Madonna gets like a horrible rap for it because
she gets in trouble all the time.
Yeah, because she tries to pretend that she has that London accent. But you know what I think it is? I read that most of our accents come from whoever we're surrounded with. So, and I have found that to be true because I come from very southern country town, and when I go back home and I'm there for a week,
it sets in on you.
When I come back here, they're like, "Gosh, you got real country," and I'm like, "Oh, I've been around rednecks,"
They're like,
and that's
Jen,
just.
Did you get country-er?
Yes, exactly. My slang gets slangier and more like Boomhauser or whatever his name is.
Yep.
The more I'm around my kinfolk. But now when I come to Louisville, it's weird because I always thought Louisvillians have a very interesting accent. It's a little country, but not really. It's a little northern too, and I don't know what it is, but I didn't really realize I even had an accent until I started going to like Canada or New York City. And some lady stopped me on the street in New York City, and we were talking, and she was from France, and she was like, "You've got to be from Texas," And the Canadians said the same thing. They were like, "Just keep talking. We love your accent."
Oh, they love it.
And I was like, "Wow, I guess it's really, slangy." I don't know. But anyway, I do think it's because we surround ourselves with people, and so maybe that's why Madonna, since she's been in London for so long, maybe she's inhabited that. I don't know.
She's also pretty experimental when it comes to how her performance, her vocal performance.
Yeah. I like to talk about her a lot because she was so influential on me growing up.
She was to me too.
Yeah, I'm glad. She gets a lot of flack today just because she's trying to stay relevant. She's wearing the grills and all that stuff. But back when I remember Madonna, I always like to say people remember where they were when Kennedy was shot. People remember where they were when the Challenger blew up. I remember exactly where I was when Madonna was in that wedding dress crawling across the stage floor.
Yes.
My jaw was in the floor, and I was just like, who is this? I want to marry that.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is, but I want to be that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was so in love with her.
Me too.
I didn't even know. I was a kid, but like.
Yeah,
wow.
same. And I used to have her posters. I was discovering my own sexuality when she was really pushing the barrier on it. And if you remember, pre that, women were not supposed to be talking about stuff like that. And she was like, guess what? I'm going to put out a book called Sex of All the Dudes I've Slept With. Can you imagine?
She came out hard on that.
Can you imagine literally yourself in Madonna's shoes going, I'm going to put a book out of everybody I've slept with, and here are their pictures.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was sneaking down to steal that book from my parents.
Your parents had the book?
They did. They had the book
awesome.
when my dad had the book in the... he did. He'd probably kill me for saying that, but he did. He had it. And I found it, and it had Erotica, the solo single CD in the middle of it. And that's when I really started falling in love with Madonna with her dark stuff.
Yeah.
Justify my love, all of the stuff that was banned. Yeah. Back when I was a kid, if it had the advisory lyrics or if it was taboo, that's the reason I bought it. You know. and I still do. I love a cuss word in music. I always have. DJ Quick was coming out when I was around Little Kim. I mean, some of her early stuff was really rowdy. I feel like we lived through that era where music kind of crossed over and got crazy.
True.
With vocals and stuff. And now it's way out of control.
Yeah.
But
True.
Madonna was just a special thing. I think a lot of young kids don't understand that,
Yeah, she was so controversial.
Yeah, well, and I call it Madonna 101. I feel like would we have paid attention to Gaga had she not been so over the top and worn the dress? And I feel like Lizzo's the same way. Lizzo, would we have paid attention to her if she wasn't coming out saying the things she did, having a big blow-up butt on stage, playing a flute in the middle of twerking with a flute? I'm just like, I feel like you have to have a shtick and you have to be different today. And when they told Madonna that if you put out this video and burn crosses and kiss a black man, your career is over. That's what they told her. And she said, guess what? I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. And then her career skyrocketed after that. Yes. And then we get Vogue, and then we get, Like a Prayer. Well, Like a Prayer was the big, and Justify My Love just as controversial.
Seeing that video, seeing the Like a Prayer video as a kid, that if I have one moment of remembering knowing who Madonna is, it's probably seeing that video.
Yeah. If you remember too, before that was Papa Don't Preach. That was the big abortion one. So that one really was just whoa. So she comes out with abortion. She comes out with the sex book. She comes out with burning crosses. She comes out kissing black men on video. Truth or Dare also, totally. Big. Ooh. Yeah. So anyway, I feel like today, if you want to be paid attention to, that you almost have to have something that's a slightly controversy.
Sure.
But we also live in a society today where we're one tweet away from our career was being ended.
Right.
So we also have to be very careful about what we say controversially. Yeah. Are you hip to that new Halsey chick?
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, she's great.
Oh my gosh, she's my wife. She don't even know it. She's probably much too young for me, but dude, she's so good. And I can tell that her voice is still developing.
Yeah.
But they caught her at the right time. Though. I know.
Yeah.
She hooked me in with the Bad at Love video, and I could really relate to that song for some reason. And then I started paying attention to her stuff, and I was like, her new single dropped today. I think her new album called Maniac dropped today with Graveyard or something. Anyway, I'm a big fan of hers. I would love to get to work with her at some point.
You're getting married.
I know. Well,
basically.
She doesn't know that.
She doesn't know that. Yeah. Lana Del Rey doesn't know that we're getting married either.
Correct. I love me some Lana Del Rey, too. She just dropped a new record, didn't she?
I fucking love it.
Dude, does it get any better?
No, I love it so much.
She's a badass. She's another one of those female badasses, man. And I put Lizzo in that character category too because I saw her a couple years ago and was just in love with her.
Yeah.
Nobody knew who she was then.
You see her at Pride?
Yes.
On the river?
She was here at Pride, yes. Yeah. A lot of people didn't even know who she was at the time. And then this year I went up to Indianapolis and saw her at Indianapolis Pride. Awesome. But she's been doing the Pride circuits for years.
Right.
And once I saw her play a flute and twerk, I was like, what is this? And she's a big old girl, and girl, and all this stuff, and
she's so awesome.
I'm just a big fan, and now she's really hitting it big. She had the #1 song in the country recently, which then Taylor Swift did, and then now Tool has, I think.
That's
so
right.
We've got proof that rock and roll is not dead. Have you seen the meme of Maynard yet?
Oh, which one?
There's the one of him sprinkling the pixie dust, and it's rainbowed, and it's Taylor Swift, and then all of a sudden it's like poof, and he says, "You're welcome." I just thought that was funny. I love Taylor Swift, but I also love Tool, always have. So I just am happy that a rock and roll record is at the #1 spot right now.
Yeah, because that doesn't happen all the time anymore.
If you look at the top 10, it's all like Post Malone, Cardi B, Lizzo, Taylor Swift. There's hardly any rock and roll acts up there. But I did just read that Mike Patton is doing a new record.
I saw that.
Faith No More. With Faith No More and then Mr. Bungle, and he's doing a bunch of different collabs. It just seems like all these rock bands are going back into the studio.
Good.
And I think they should because everybody keeps saying it's a dying art. And I'm like, it's actually not a dying art. I don't feel like so.
It will never actually go away. But
no, I think it's going to cycle back is what I always think.
I mean, everything always does, right? Eventually.
Exactly. So tell me about this track real quick. We're going to spin.
Cool. Yeah, the new song. It's called Surrender. It's a cover song by the band Suicide.
That's right.
And yeah, it's it's weird.
Yeah, and this is the first time anybody's hearing it right here on LRS 102.
Totally. Yeah, here you go.
And we thank you for that.
Yeah,
You're
glad.
locked on to the Walrus, and this is Jaxon Swain.
Time isn't any mine, 'cause I've never known about you, so I surrender. Hey, I surrender to you. I surrender. Hey, I surrender to you. Come on! Love isn't easy. It ain't easy to find. So I'll save it for you. 'Cause I'm trying hard, baby, but I'm too tired to fight for you. So I surrender. Yeah, I surrender to you. I surrender. Yeah, I surrender to you. All right. My heart is in prison. I watch it on TV. Come close to me, 'cause I'm trying hard, baby, but I'm too tired to fight for me. So I surrender. Yeah, I surrender to you. I surrender. Yeah, I surrender to you. I surrender, baby. I surrender to you. Come on, you know that I do. I'm walking by myself, hand in hand, by myself, but I gotta ask you a question.
Surrender. That is Jaxon Lee Swain on LRS102.com. Jackson, that's awesome. I love that track.
Thanks. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it's like a 6/8, 12/8 kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love it. I surrender. We're big fans of local music, obviously, here, and all things local to Louisville and badasses that play music around town, and you're definitely one of those. I do want to remind everybody just real quick that tonight you can join us at the Mag Bar, that's second in Magnolia. We're going to give away free Louder Than Live tickets. LRS will be there from 9 to midnight with LRS Fest tickets and Louder Than Live. So if you want some of those tickets, those are hot button items right now. They're very low on numbers for tickets that they're selling, so you can do that tonight, 9 to midnight. Nubbins will be there. That's at the Mag Bar. Come on down and join LRS102.com, the Walrus. Also, if you want to check out Jaxon, he's going to be at the Snitzelberg Walk, and that is, wait, did I say Snitzel? Is it Snitzelberg Walk? No, Snitzelberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the
you're right.
Snitzelberg Walk. Okay, I second guess myself. I was like, is that what they call it? The Snitzelberg Walk. You said, what, about 6 o'clock you're going to join Juanita?
That's correct. And that's going to be at the Merriweather,
right.
At the corner of Lydia and Hickory. And then at 10 o'clock we're playing, our band's going to play, me with Mary and Brett and Benny, and Anthony's going to be playing bass for us.
Okay. That's super rad. And then also you are going to be soon playing that Leo Awards thing.
Yes. That is Thursday, October 5th or 3rd?
Yeah. Probably. The 5th is Saturday.
So it's the 3rd then.
Yeah. And Lisa Fry will be in here next week, so I'm sure she'll probably be talking about that a little bit.
Hi, Lisa.
Jackson, always a pleasure to get to spend some time with you. Thank you for all the music.
Absolutely.
We've had a good old time, and it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I wish you much success in your career and everything else going on.
Me.
And we're going to wrap it up. It's been Jaxon Lee Swain and on Jyneration Nation, LRS102.com. Please, everybody, have a very safe weekend because it's a full moon tonight and Friday the 13th, so there's a lot of weird mojo vibes going around. I ask that you do not drink and drive, and Lyft or Uber. You know, it's only $5 or $6 sometimes when you just got to call them. And if you're out having a good time, just please be safe because it is always crazy on a full moon. Jackson, I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Jen.
I'm going to leave you with some Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wills. It's Devil with the Blue Dress on LRS102.com. I'm Jen Yates, and as always, keep it groovy.